Well, cancel culture is now going after one of America's favorite children's books. Schools in Virginia's Loudoun County removing Dr. Seuss books from its annual Read Across America event, citing, quote, strong racial undertones. However, Dr. Seuss books will still be available in libraries and classrooms in the district. Joining us now, Patrice Onwuka, Center for Economic Opportunity Director at the Independent Women's Forum. Patrice, always great to see you. You know, it's been a while since I've dusted off my copy of Green Eggs and Ham, but, you know, we have so many problems to deal with when it comes to education right now. Number one, getting our in-person classes back together. This sort of reminds me of the debate about in California, should we rename all these schools, spend all this money? We need to be focusing on the kids and getting them back into class so they can learn properly instead of some of this petty stuff, don't you think?
I agree with you. This is a misfocus on the wrong priorities. As you mentioned, there are a lot of kids who are not only back in school, but are behind, and particularly Black and brown students who are, some of them, a year behind, and they may not be able to catch up. But you know, when I think about literacy and reading from a young age, those books, the Dr. Seuss books, were really a great tool in getting young people, kids, excited about learning and excited about reading. And there's so many lessons that unfortunately are going to be lost among students as these schools move away from using Dr. Seuss books.
And it's funny because in your notes you said that it was good enough for Barack and Michelle last year. Tell me about that.
Well, we've seen Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, former first ladies like Barbara Bush and Laura Bush embrace reading. And you know, Michelle Obama read Dr. Seuss books in the past. So it's interesting that suddenly, I think even as recently as last year, but suddenly there's this this rejection of Dr. Seuss. It stems from, you know, I think this cancel culture, this wokeism, saying, you know what, anything that has any sort of racial undertones or any sort of or the author and founder has anything connected to racism, it has to be rejected. It has to be purged from society. Now, truly, Dr. Seuss started out making some racist cartoons, but he redeemed himself and actually turned his work around to really embrace and teach lessons about, you know, in seeing the best in one another and respecting the differences that we have. So I think there's a lesson even in the idea of redemption and of changing our opinions when we understand that people should be embraced based on who they are, not what they look like.
And as we're teaching our children, shouldn't that be some of the lesson as we look back on history and mistakes that we've made or ways that we've found to be more progressive or to be better? Shouldn't we teach children about that instead of just ripping the books off the shelves? It's like when Amazon took Gone with the Wind off of it wouldn't sell the DVD anymore. I mean, how far are we going to go by erasing history, by canceling things to sort of send a message? There's other ways to send that message.
Absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, I don't think we've seen the end of cancel culture. Everything from Huckleberry Finn to, you know, Gone with the Wind, as you've mentioned. But there are so many literary works out there that that are important for a young person to read, to understand the historical context in which they were written, the ideas, the prevailing ideas at the time that they were written. Certainly, there are lots of books written, you know, that during the time in this country's history when people like me, who look like me, were owned by other people. That's a sad time of our history. But look at me now. I'm sitting on television talking to you. No one owns me. And so it shows the chart of freedom in our country and the embrace of change. And so when you erase these stories, when you try to erase your history, you are unfortunately doomed to repeat it because young generations don't know what happened in the past and they can't make those forward-looking decisions based on that.
Patrice Onwuka, you make some excellent points. Great to see you tonight. Thank you.